What's going on, fat guy?
How's this happening with my camera? What's going on?
Has to do with the lighting and the green screen.
That's so weird. This is the exact same setup I use every time.
Zab said Sharps, Jets money pouring in. Never thought I'd say that. What's going on, Mickey? I'm on Jets plus 10 and the under 45.5 in this one. Fat guy, you got any interest in this game?
I do. Oh geez, I'm still here. I'm gonna shut off and then come back in.
Sounds good. Zaps is not touching this game. I think that's fair.
There we go.
Nice.
Yeah, I kind of like the Jets in this, but you know, I'm on this side of the counter for this one, so I have Indy minus 10.5, plus 115, plus 120, and plus 113.
So you need a big win from Indy.
Yeah, or not. Whatever.
Yeah, I guess need is a
It's strong
is the
term
wrong,
there.
Is the wrong term maybe to use.
I had a really good week, so it's a lot. I had not a lot, but I had a good amount of money on Houston to win the whatchamacallit? Not the pennant. I did what is it called? The World Series. So what am I doing? So I had a really good game. That Atlanta game was really good for me.
Always good.
I've been taking a lot of hockey bets.
Yeah.
Man, is it hard for somebody. Like I have 4 different guys doing 4 different strategies. None of them were working at all.
What are they? What's some of the strategies they're trying?
One guy's taking all home dogs is what I think. You know what I mean? Like the sample's not huge, so It just feels like that's what he's doing. It's
Yeah.
only for like small amounts of money, but it's interesting to track, right?
Oh, definitely.
Another guy's taking the big favorites and like nobody's even close to winning. So, and then the two are pretty random, but they have to be strategies, I would imagine, other than rec. I guess they are rec players, so there's that.
What do you got there?
Some chicken chow mein I just made.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it's okay.
I found this chef on YouTube. I think his name is Chef John Pierre.
Okay.
And he can't pronounce R's. He says
Oh,
them
onion.
like
The onion guy? Onion?
I'm not sure about onion.
Okay, go ahead. He's French, right?
He's French. But he pronounces everything with an R. He pronounces like a W.
Mm-hmm.
So he seems like a good chef, like he knows what he's doing. But like I feel like at this time I'm just watching it because it's so comical to hear him say like subscribe and stuff like
Oh,
that.
yeah. I know who this is. He's really, really, really good.
Yeah, he seems like he knows what he's doing.
He puts too much butter in it, but that's a very French thing to do.
ISO Ismail said not betting money on it, but for my season-long league ATS, I'd go with Indy. Really think Jets win over since he was on the Bengals. The quarterback need to show me more if I have to trust the Jets.
That's fair. I mean, but that's just as good an opinion as anyone else, right? So I just think you have to think the number. ISO is 10.5 too many points, right?
Well, what's the point where you'd like to buy back on the Jets, like Colts?
I kind of like 10.5, but I got 10.5 with good juice. 10 I don't like. 10's Colts minus 9.5 is close. You know.
They're doing a highlight here on Madden before the game. I haven't seen or heard from John Madden in a while.
Yeah, it's weird to see him. I feel like they always like misreport his death once a year.
Which is bizarre.
You know what I love about John Madden? It's the only sport game where it's the name of a person. There's NHL, 2021, NBA 2K, whatever, and now there's Madden, and it's a coach, it's not even a player.
It's pretty unreal.
Oh, unbelievable! Imagine that licensing.
I bet you he doesn't even take that much. Like he could probably take more.
Nah, man, but if you have that set up in a trust in perpetuity, it's not like that brand's gonna die.
Oh, it's terrific.
The games suck. The games are terrible now, but they're making them more kid friendly.
Well, it's all the EA sports game franchises have really gone down the drain because of Ultimate Team. But it's just how it is, right? They're monetizing their game. Madden is a legend. Madden, like, I love John Madden.
Oh yeah.
I think a lot of us spend a lot of days watching football and listening to John Madden.
It is. It is the hat in the Discord pick. Good eye, Josh Allen. Sorry, we had a bit of a slow broadcast with me stuffing my fat face and Big Rye doing the dead air thing, but um, the I
It's
did
true.
want to.
I fucking can't talk for like longer than 10 seconds without coughing.
Well, it's
So
not really your job, so whatever. Um, the I did want to touch on something. Not that we have a ton of people watching, but this is good advice. One of my customers was telling me how bad of a losing streak he was having this week and how nothing seems to work. And it's his birthday and he still lost. And I just want to kind of reiterate what I told him. Nobody owes you anything. And think about how good of a life you have if you can just bet money and even if you lose some, it's largely going to unaffect you. You have a pretty good life. So you have to have some perspective, right? Like a loss isn't that devastating. Chances are, I don't know everyone's situation, but if you live in the United States and you have all this time to bet on sports, chances are you're doing very, very well comparatively to the rest of the world. And then people in history forget about it. So we have it pretty good. So let's consider that. A loss isn't the end of the world, even a string of them. I had to get philosophical, but
you made some good points, but I completely disagree. Like I have almost everything riding on tonight's game. It could be
from the guy who cares the least I've ever seen.
This could financially ruin me, my life, my family.
I will never financially recover from this.
It could be bad. It could be really bad. And I'll do it with a smile. So, take what Fat Guy said with a grain of salt. Others have, a lot more riding on these games.
Oh my God. Oh my goodness.
A little satire before the game.
Yeah, I know. I don't think Josh Allen, I think that's almost a mistake. Is that I think the first role, like obviously you have to have a mathematical component to make more management, and that should be the basis of it. But the first rule should be emotional tolerance, right? If you have $100 million and you lose 50 and that pisses you off, and by the way, I know a guy like this, exact same financial situation, and he loses $50, he'll lose his mind. Then you can't really bet. Like you're already betting too much. Do you know what I mean? Like that's what it's about, right? Like he can't make good decisions at the best of times in terms of sports betting. How's he going to make good ones when he's mad, right? Like it's what you're available to. And then I know broke guys that want to bet every dollar they have too, and then don't care afterwards either. I'm not saying do that strategy either, but like it has to start with something you should be indifferent to the results, but you should be critical of the decisions, if that makes sense. So I'll tell you another good story. I guess I'm in story mode right now to fill till the game starts. I took a customer on that was betting tennis, like pretty high, like over a dime on every match pretty much, right? So we had a match where I had like significant money on, and every point the guy's losing his mind because we were sitting next to each other at the poker table, and I didn't care. And then that's the difference, right? Like, like the bet's made. Like, what does reacting to the bet gonna change? Do you know what I mean? The only thing you should evaluate was, did I make a good decision that was plus EV? So, hello, Tony. How you doing? Plus EV within the confines of my bankroll so that variance can't kill me. Because then if you're susceptible to variance, that it only takes the book's waiting for one bad streak to bust you, and it will come. It's inevitable, mathematically inevitable. How you feeling, Big Rye? Getting it back? He's still in the dumps.
It's gonna be a rough one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Do you want to keep chatting like this? I get very little response here, so we can get some nods, maybe.
No.
Got a Penn and Teller act right now. I guess it would work. You're short and
That's pretty much what.
relatively thin.
Yeah, relative to you.
I'm just not going to name my child Moxie Crime Fighter. That's all.
What's going on, Jamie?
She's a Jets fan. Ah, I have money on the other side, so
And
Rockets plus
I'm
11.
With her. I'm with her tonight. Play of the day, Rockets plus 11. Let's take a look and see.
I'm starting to think closing line value is better used on strictly money lines. I think you over the long term you're going to realize it a lot more. Even on big money lines, like laying the big money line. If the payout's more, it's more. And if you're risking to win one unit, then I just think it's overall better. I gotta shave this beard. It's driving me absolutely nuts. It's in that encroachment phase where the hairs just go over the lip. It's the most annoying thing in the world. But I was up till like 8 a.m. playing poker last night. Some guy wanted to play heads up last night.
What?
An amateur.
Really?
So he was up 6 buy-ins.
Yeah.
Before I got there, and he ended up down 6 buy-ins. So I won 12 buy-ins, which is for poker that's absurd, but it was really not fair. I won 10 buy-ins, a ridiculous amount.
Why did he want to play you heads up like that?
Well, we were playing 4-handed, and then it just whittled down to 2, and he didn't quit. And we played till like 6 a.m. or 7 a.m, and then I was up till 8. I don't even remember the time. That's how long it was.
And
you can't leave. That's why I hate poker. The scalability of poker is garbage. Like when you know you're gonna make like, a few $100s an hour, it's hard to, how do you quit? Right? Like, and it's not like it's not like you're regressing. You know what I mean? Like, I could play even though I'm a terrible endurance player. My dad's probably better than me now in his 70s. I could play that strategy with my literally half asleep. It would be that easy because the skill gap was so great. If I was playing someone good, and I still had an edge, I wouldn't want to play more than a few hours. Especially heads up, it's very mentally taxing, but when the strategy is so easy, you can just play like that forever. So it's hard to turn off. And then, point in case you go to bed at 8 a.m. It's just really terrible.
Well, I'm going to ask the dumbest question ever, but how come so many games are played like late at night?
Well, this would be the general consensus is recreational players have an addictive force to gambling, and their free time is usually when their families are asleep. So what they end up doing is they burn the candle at both ends, and they play up until they have to go to work, and they just stay up all night, and they act like nothing happened, and then they have a horrible day the next day, and then they quit for a week, and then they come back and do it over again. That's the thing. Professionals on, I guess we're calling it doesn't matter what classification I am. You just play when the game is good and available. Like you have I actually hate doing it, right? But it's like someone offers you a job for a few $100s an hour, and all you have to do is sit in a chair and make decisions. It's, you know what I mean? And I was doing work while I was doing it. Like I had other stuff going on, Oh, and I watched Halloween on another screen. Thank you for the third screen, Big Rye.
Hell yeah.
Short week for White Mike. Yeah. Hey, Jake Jacobs. I got Pistons money line right on. I think a Jets O is going to struggle too. Yeah, I think the 10.5 points is reasonable though. I think the Jets defense could play okay here, but I mean, do we really care? Like what I think, or you know what I mean? What's the number, right? So I think consensus it was 10. So I think Jets 10.5 was reasonable. I really do. What are the Colts' chances of winning this game? 84%, something like that.
Um, they're like -4 something, so somewhere in that 80% range.
Zaps, first Colts primetime game since 2007. What? No, that's 100% wrong. Maybe they have to get one every year, but maybe Thursday nighter. But were they even doing Thursday nighters in 2007? I don't think so.
I don't think so, but my memory's not good for myself.
Colts home primetime game. Okay, that makes sense. I really like that guy's bet cashed $1,000 at 125 to 1. That seems like it was a sharp bet, though. Speaking of Tyler Croft, there's your first reception and first down. I like that name, Quiddy Pay. Isn't that fun?
It is fun.
Colts offensive line is intact for this game. Yeah, well, it'd be nice to see them in flux, too. I think they should balance the running a bit more between Taylor and, like, maybe give Mac more of a timeshare if he's healthy. That looked like a false start on the right tackle there.
It did look like it, and then Denzel Mims with the block of the century there on the sideline.
How is George Fant playing left tackle?
Well, I was just going to say Elijah Vera Tucker, I think, has decent PFF
rating?
grades from what I've seen.
Well, they traded up for him. That was a big deal. And Mekhi Becton not playing. It looks like Morgan Moses isn't lined up properly at right tackle. And it looks like he keeps moving slow. That was nice, too. Wow.
Mac is a healthy scratch tonight.
Oh, Mac's out? Healthy scratch, too. Yikes.
Yeah. I like the green on the I like the Jets green helmet, like the green of their helmets.
What kind of green would you call it? A forest? Cosmic?
Yeah, that's pretty funny. Trick play. Almost intercepted. Excellent coverage on that trick play. Holy smokes.
Are you on CTV?
Yeah, CTV2.
What an idiot I am. I just saw the TSN one and I went for it. How is TSN worse?
I don't know.
I hate TSN anyways. They're useless.
It's great if you want Canadian coverage of the English Premier League.
Yeah, or like, my favorite thing is? That network talks about the Leafs more than anything, but they can't show the games.
Yeah.
Like, the idiocy is huge. Super Bowl 3 rematch.
Is this the I Want to Kiss You?
It is. It's the greatest upset in Super Bowl history. 17.5-point dogs winning outright.
I think I watched like some sort of documentary on it. It was very interesting.
We made one.
That's what it is then.
Yeah. I wrote it, you read it. Very poor views, but I don't regret it.
Oh, it was interesting. We tried a different medium, and like most things, it just doesn't work out. What's going on, Don?
That looked more like a fumble. Don, you missed an Owen Wilson wow I had earlier. I know you like to point those out. Oh man. Was that running into the kicker though?
It might have been. I don't see a flag at least indicated on the broadcast.
It was just more of a storytelling, Mickey. It's buried in our YouTube. Nick Ryan might have taken it down.
I'll see if I can find the link.
Don, I used to have the best memory I know of anyone I knew up until about 3 years ago. It's shot now. It's at 20%. No, it has to be. It has to be organic, Don. You can't force something like that. Now I have a terrible memory, and it's really bothering me. Like, because I used to. This is how much of an ignorant moron I was. It might have been maybe 5 years ago. It crapped out, but I was so lazy that I just resulted on the good memory for everything. And now, when you don't have the good memory, what do? If I didn't have the internet, I'd be the dumbest man in the world. Mind you, our bald friend might be taking that title. He was a Big Ryan and I have a very high on his own skill bald friend who doesn't believe that he's bald, and he probably is the smartest man in the world if you never fact checked him. The Jets hadn't won, the leagues might not have merged. That's true too, because the AFC was looked at really poorly, right? And I think the because it was the Baltimore Colts, it wasn't Indianapolis. It was Johnny Unitas and Don Shula, right? And I think they only lost one game in like 2.5, 3 years. Like, it was really egregious. Like, they were crushing everybody. I can't, Don. It has to happen organically. You missed it, buddy. But it's a long game. We still got 2.5 hours left. Trevor Lawrence's face is a little unfortunate, and that's a little rich coming from the two of us. I'm just assuming you agree. I used the bet stamp a little bit today, and I was looking at a lot of like websites that that Big Ryan and I kind of respect their opinion, like Walter Football. Very good draft analysis from Walter Football. In terms of betting, though, not very good from what I looked through today.
This is an interesting time to bring this up, but Fat Guy and I made a video in June 2019 talking about if Patrick Mahomes will fall victim to the Madden curse. And I just saw that it's up to it's over 1,000 views now. So I don't know, maybe
you and I don't even care. Like, I think that video was decent, but like
it ended up being a 3-parter. It was like 40 minutes on Patrick Mahomes' Madden curse.
I think I was just trying to capitalize on the popularity. 1,000 views though, that's okay.
Yeah, it's actually pretty good.
Free play. Man, if this team can run like this, you're in deep. Is CJ Mosley playing? He's hurt again, right?
I'm not
sure. This is how up to date I've been lately. Kelly in Vegas has a good ROI on that website. That was the only one that surprised me. Oh, and by the way, Big Rye, Tyrod Taylor's playing. Nailed it. Got some CLV on that too.
That's awesome. So what's the line?
It dipped to 5 from 7, and that's less than I would have thought. I haven't checked in the last hour though. It's 5.5 on Pinnacle. I thought I was gonna get a bigger edge with Tyrod Taylor playing, but maybe
7 and 6 are key numbers. So
yeah, I know. I'm happy about that, but I still thought I'd get even better. Holy smokes! Look at the gait on Wentz. It's not very good. He's probably still hurt. Look at the size of that man.
Well, if you're an Eagles fan, you want what Wentz to play 13 games.
I like this line from Mickey, and this is Wentz is good but horrible at dealing with crisis plays. I like that term. I've never heard it, crisis plays, and I think that's the most accurate and succinct way to put what that was. Look at this missed tackle, grabbing around the neck pretty much. Is Michael Pittman a second-round pick, Big Rye? Do you remember?
I'll take a look.
I want to see the split between, like, how much is Adrian Peterson actually going to play?
He'll probably play like 40% of the snaps.
He's probably a better first and second down option than anything they have, right?
If they're going to run the ball. Yeah, he was the 34th pick, second round, 2020.
You know what? Even a guy that you could have traded for, because I mean, the Saints just traded for him, Mark Ingram. I guess it was after the deadline, but that's a guy that would have fit for me. Like cheap, efficient, a veteran.
Definitely. I even feel like there's probably a lot more guys off the street that could come in and play that aren't Adrian Peterson. But
yeah, I can't think of
Peterson's a name.
I can't think of any off the top of my head, but they're like, I don't know. But the health of running backs, I feel, is just hidden. You know what I mean? Like quarterbacks, if they get a hangnail, running backs, it's one where I don't. You'd be on the injury report every week, wouldn't you?
Mm-hmm.
Like, who was that running back? No, Sean Moreno had like a crazy good season in Miami and then never played again. And I always found that interesting too.
Well, he was on a roster, but like an injury to a running back can be, it can be the end.
Yeah,
like,
and I think Moreno had a neck one too.
Yeah, like you can't take 300 hits in a season with a neck injury. It just doesn't. It just doesn't work. Like,
yeah, you're 100% right. And yeah, also too, like each carry, there's like a 1 in 100 chance, maybe 1 in 150 of a serious injury for a running back. Do you know what I mean? Like, I just feel like everything's inevitable, right? Look at these runs by the Colts. This has got to be a touchdown. Wow. What? Look at it. Do you see that speed? That closing speed when he turned the corner? Unbelievable. This is a guy me and Big Rye were way wrong on. Big Rye and I thought Nyheim Hines would be too small and it wouldn't work out. And
I don't know why you're throwing me under the bus. I had no opinions on Nyheim Hines. That was all you.
You're a liar.
No, you're a liar. You said he looked like trash, and I just went with it. But I probably wouldn't have liked him if I researched him either.
He was like 190 pounds or whatever when they drafted him.
Excellent receiving back now. He was bad his first year. Let's put it that way.
I'm assuming on play action he's way, way, way better, Mickey. Just because play action is just the assumption is they're committing to the run. Obviously, it could be the other way around, but because I haven't looked at them, but I would imagine that's what the case is.
Live lines up to 16, and the OU's currently at 47.
Yeah, fantastic. It makes sense. That makes complete sense to me. Because, like, if you're a defender, you're just more worried about Henry. And then that makes you like the causation correlation thing that starts to define that a bit more.
This article is from 2020, and Tannehill was first in passer rating and adjusted yards, adjusted YPA, third in completion percentage off of play action. In theory, it'll be less effective without Henry playing. Breathes life into Jets organization. Oh my goodness.
Will Dak Prescott start against Denver? I'm going to emphatically say yes, just because of the line. Obviously, there's a chance, but oh my goodness. With a ball hanging that much in the air, that could have been picked pretty easy. Was that a catch?
It looked like it.
Man, I wasn't sure if the ball like came out at the end there. You know what I mean? Keelan Cole, he almost had a highlight reel one against the Bengals. Did you see that one? He caught it one hand in the end zone, and then Braxton Berrios caught a touchdown right after.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Mike White, I think it's a West Kentucky hilltopper. I think that's what they're called. And that was a big hit. I kind of like this defense.
Indies?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like underrated because it's not like it's kind of like how you like a hockey team. There's no like superstar other than probably Buckner. Like
And
everyone's just good. And
Darius
Leonard,
Leonard.
Darius Leonard, yeah. They are fantastic at tackling, Mickey. At least from what we've seen in the few games I've watched them. I think I've watched 3 Colts games. They're one of the teams I like more than others. Maybe 4 I've watched. It's weird to think that the Jags have had a lot of exciting receivers. Like maybe not good's the word, but exciting.
They've had some good depth at receiver the last few years. It hasn't translated to anything, but
And like what's going on with DJ Shark? Remember he was like
I think he's been injured. I think he's out for the season.
that would make sense. Oh, he's on IR, yeah. That was only a week ago though. Fractured ankle. Because he was making a lot of rumblings. Kind of like remember when Dede Westbrook was too?
Well, and Keelan Cole, and they had another high draft pick guy that might be out of the league now. Who was the other guy? It was every year he was going to be the next big breakout star.
Receiver from Jacksonville?
Yeah, there was another guy there.
Hmm.
He was always considered like the number one, and he was just never.
It's the guy Alan Hearns was behind.
There's
Allen
another
Robinson.
guy.
Allen Robinson.
It wasn't
Gotta be
even.
Allen
It
Robinson.
wasn't even either one of those guys. That's how crazy it is. I'll pull it up. Wow.
Wow. We got a game. Marquise Lee.
It was Marquise Lee. Yeah.
What a weird franchise I didn't realize in terms of skill position, eh?
They've always had like, you never want to say, oh, this is the best, but it was always like they always had 3 or 4 guys that are like, these guys are all like legit starters.
Yeah. I have an interesting preponderance here. Let's just say that Mike White or White Mike finishes this game in competitive fashion like he is so far, right? Is there a question at quarterback?
For this year, yes.
But then is it his to lose after? Do you know what I mean? If he plays like okay.
In the NFL, yes. That's just how it works.
It's so interesting how that like
Well, I think Zach Wilson in the preseason looked pretty good. And it just hasn't worked out for him so far. Like, rookies are supposed to struggle, though. Like, that's what they're...
Yes, 100%.
Historically, at the quarterback position, despite the success that some of these players are having more recently, like, as a rookie, you're supposed to struggle. And boy, has it been a struggle for the Jets offense.
It's not just the Jets, like everybody. Like Mac Jones is playing okay, and he's the best out of them. Wow, what a way to lose. Elijah Moore was the Ole Miss player that called for fake dog pissing in the end zone after a TD. They called unsportsmanlike penalty. The kicker missed the XP and they lost the game. Wow. Wow. What was the NFL? I just didn't know Wilson. There you go. What was the NFL version of that? Was that Saints Jags from like 2005 or 6, I think?
Where they had the miraculous comeback and then they missed the
Yeah,
extra
they
point
missed
to
the
tie.
bat. You know, it's like I kind of feel I have, not that I'm very sympathetic, empathetic, what have you. The kicker had nothing to do with the miraculous comeback. And then he misses the kick, which is like, I mean, it's just going to happen from time to time. Not very often, but if you're worth your salt as a kicker. And then imagine the locker room, that walk back when all those guys are just going to stare because that's all they can do, right? That was a nice return.
Let's see what happened in coverage here.
Oh, dude, he punked them.
Well, Mike White pumped the safety.
And he stayed in to take a shot.
I think that was a different play.
That's not what Aikman just said. That's like a quarterback bingo, isn't it? Like he kind of he did everything right there.
That was a different play for sure because he was facing a different side of the field when he made that throw.
Oh, right. Well, nice job, media guy then.
But they were evaluating his like right hand or wrist, Mike White, on the sidelines, which is not a good thing for.
He's the backup, Joe Flacco.
I believe so. He's listed as the starter, which I find funny. It's either
nice play 95.
It's either Flacco or Josh Johnson. I'm not too sure.
Who would you rather start? I have my answer.
Don't you know classy Joe Flacco is really helping out Mike White? Oh my god. This is so great. That's such a good joke,
Yeah,
Mickey.
that is a good joke. That was a great play by Quinnen Williams. Do you see that? Because that could have been really big down the field. God, that just when you see a nice slant, there's just like a beauty to it. You know what I mean? Like the timing on that too, and knowing your guy's gonna be there. God,
and it was
and the nice pick play.
Yeah, that's what I saw.
Like it just feels like those are too easy. You know what I mean? Like they don't. We see them a lot, but it's like you could see them more. That was just I just love those. Those are great.
Well, that's like that Malcolm. Is it Malcolm Brown, or no Malcolm Brown? Who was the guy who had the interception in the New England Seattle Super Bowl?
Oh, smokes! Holy smokes! I can't remember that either.
Malcolm Butler.
Forget? Malcolm Butler. There you go. Yeah.
It's like one of those plays where if you're gonna stay in man and stay on your man, you're just gonna lose. Like it's just so hard. You have to like give up every other route and sell out for that to even make a play. But it's like what they did, right? They switched off, but that's a coaching thing, right? Like you figure that out watching tape week in, week out on these teams. Like you get an idea, and then on a third down when you need that first down, you could run a play like that. But like to me that's a coaching thing.
Yeah. Speaking of coaching, there's probably a bit of a mismatch. I think Mickey pointed out earlier. Like Reich's right up there with the best with the best of them, in my opinion.
And Robert Sala's still a big question mark, especially because like I don't know, the team is talent deficient. The Jets are but how much is that on the roster? How much is that on Salah?
Well, there has to be a there it's not a one-way street, obviously, right? So um um but like there's something that we always, or not, I'm not phrasing this how I want to. We never take in as much into consideration coaches improving, because we think that they should have it down a bit more, which but it can happen though. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Mm-hmm.
and there and perhaps there's a stalling mechanism too. Like Kyle Shanahan, we expected. I guess they did go to the Super Bowl once, but I feel like it's not as, he hasn't really changed his game much. Do you know what I mean? Even Sean McVay to a point, right? It feels like they're behind a little bit too.
Well,
So
then
Salah could probably improve.
Well, then you get people like Flores, who coached out of his mind his first year, a year and a half, and now it hasn't looked good. But you could lose a locker room pretty fast too.
Yeah, and then there's also the case though. Did you just run good during those spots? Like,
Yeah.
but they seem prepared. That Miami defense. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. That was really weird. The nickel corner ran to the other side of the field as that was going on.
Oh, Josh Johnson is warming up, huh? Man, oh, this could be big. Oh, what a tackle!
I thought that was going to be a house call for
So did
Jonathan
I.
Taylor.
Like, you kind of like Taylor in a one-on-one spot there against that safety.
Jets fans aren't allowed to have nice things. It might be true.
Jets fans aren't allowed to have nice things. I got to be honest though, that those defensive like run first teams of the mid 2000s, 2010s, early 2010s, or sorry, yeah, early 2010s, late 2000s. Those are big for my formative years in football. Like they had this counter play where they used to pull Alan Faneca at guard, and watching him come around the corner and just crush the linebacker crashing down, that made me fall in love with football. Like that was my favorite play in the league, was Alan Faneca. Like when I first started getting into it, I lost all my money playing poker, and I went to work for my family's bar, and then the hive of gambling activity that bar was. Like that's where this all started for me. So, well, at least the big interest in sports, and it wasn't so much the sport itself of football, as it was the sport in conjunction with the marketplace, right? It's just I think this, I think this. Okay, let's put money on it. It was awesome. I did, Jake, but only anecdotally.
Yeah, I didn't know he was still in the league. One of the longest transaction histories I've ever seen, Josh Johnson. He's played for He's been on 17 different rosters since 2012. That's crazy.
You and I don't know of anyone more than that, I don't think.
Not off the top of my head. It's not 17 different teams like some teams he came back to, but there's 17 different teams listed. They made that play looks very easy for Taylor.
He's looking pretty good. I got to be real here. Look how big that hole was, though. Why didn't he just run straight up the field and try and kill that safety, though? You see the run, and then you see that angle. I'm like, okay, that doesn't look that hard. Like,
yeah.
No, it is not. It is a. Oh, this is a touchdown. San Jose State University hat.
I was just going to say before that snap, the box looks so light here, and Taylor just had so much space to do what he wanted. Look at the...
It does, and they're off the ball a bit, too.
Colts have been running the ball at will, and they lined up like it was 3rd and 16.
Yes, the Spartans. I always think I have a template for a letter I've been writing because I think it's funny. Because technically I guess I could launch a lawsuit on behalf of my ancestors against USC Michigan State and San Jose State for culturally appropriating us, the Spartans. So I want them all to be called the football team now, being of Spartan lineage. I got to be honest though, in all of like medieval and ancient warfare, Spartans have the coolest helmet. It's not close, not even close. Seems like a nuisance though. It's probably made of bronze. Like that would probably hurt your neck wearing that all day. Especially in Greece too. It's hot. Like, but you want this big like metal heat conductor on your head? I don't think so. Dude, do you see 67's hair and mustache
I
combination?
missed it.
Is that Van Rotten?
I'd have to check the rosters. $67 is former Charger Dan Feeney.
Dan Feeney, okay. He's got a nice setup up top on him. Ooh. He had Josh Johnson had success in the XFL, right?
I don't remember.
XFL, that really sucks for them. Like Vince McMahon putting up all that money a second time, and this time, like I felt like it was actually not a bad product. Like all things considered.
Well, they said they were going to come back, but I think it's like 2023 or something like that. Like
He sold it though, I think, to The Rock and a group of investors. That's so weird to say that out loud. Oh, this is probably good for the under here. Although, how big is the supposed gap between rookie White Mike and journeyman Josh Johnson? It's bizarre, right?
yeah.
There aren't too many scenarios you and I have to pull back from the Rolodex. You know what I mean? Where this has happened.
Not at all. The live OU is up to 54, but it's down for now, so we'll see.
Just heard oh my goodness.
What a play.
Shifty.
I don't know, Zaps. Did they just say that on the broadcast, or?
They said that on the broadcast. I didn't hear that. I mean, it's possible it went in one ear and out the other, but like, how?
No, I asked if they did. I don't know if it is or not. What a play call on 3rd and long.
You kind of have to do that though, and you and I commend that type of behavior. Did they get it? Indy's got it?
Yeah, they're showing that India got the ball.
Wow.
And guess who? Darius Leonard.
Who else, right?
Just crazy.
Man, that's doesn't that just make you happy? You know what I mean? Like it's like I can't even articulate like to see a guy that's that proficient. You know what I mean? In the Chiefs game, he got one too, right? Is this 2 games in a row? Oh no, they lost the Titans, so it's twice in 3 weeks. I didn't watch the game against the Titans, so it's very plausible that that could have happened as well.
Zap said they said it a week ago during a Jets game. That's like just a huge oversight by the Jets bringing him in. Hey Joe, have you looked into the playbook? Oh yeah, I love it, Coach. What's that? I love that story you tell about uh, who's the guy with the huge arm that got drafted high and then didn't play, or he might have played, but he dropped out of the league pretty quickly. Jamarcus
You
Russell,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, the
and they
Kirk Morrison story.
yeah
Oh, it's, so Kirk Morrison went and did like a spill, like spill the beans on his time with the Raiders during that like dysfunction, and the O coordinator um gave a burned DVD burned of the some of the better plays that they wanted to run, the like 20 of the best plays that they wanted to focus on for the next weekend, and he gave it to Jamarcus Russell on like the Tuesday or whatever, and then practice comes around Thursday, and the O coordinator goes, what did you look at the DVD, Jamarcus? Which ones did you like?" He goes, "Man, they're all good. We're gonna run them all." The DVD was blank, so like, and other guys knew, so they're like, "Oh man, we're in big trouble here."
that's so great.
That's 13 forced fumbles for Leonard. Was that 3 years?
That's very impressive.
Oh, what a screen. This is going to be a big one. You're pretty helpless. Oh, the Jets say they have a fumble. You're going to have a tough time winning. Like, if this is what's going to happen to you. Oh my God. Look at 56 on 21. You don't have a hope, dude. I'm impressed they got that play call off. Jamarcus Russell too was like, he was a fat pig. He weighed as much as the lineman did. He had pretty good mobility though, mind you. Ben Roethlisberger for parts of his career was a little bit husky too. So, and who's the other one that Jared Lorenzen,
Oh
Super
yeah,
Bowl ring wearer, the hefty
hefty.
lefty?
He passed away.
He did. Well, it's hard to be 400 pounds, right? Holy, what's going on here? What do you got? Vaseline on it? This is a great question from Josh Allen. What do you guys think about A-Rod, the line shooting up to 8? Man, that's interesting. Like, so we have to think of what's the gap between Aaron Rodgers and Jordan Love. And I don't, I wish I had a better answer. A lot, this is the one thing I see is a lot of people saying this is a big overreaction. Okay, maybe so, but I think the line was pretty low for the Chiefs. Like the Chiefs are, I think, being spotted a point or two more than they should, to be honest, just because they've had such run bad. Like any way you slice it, Big Right, like the Chiefs have been very unlucky. ATS, like they were probably the luckiest team for about 2 years, and then over the last year and a half, 2 years, they've been pretty abysmal. Like
The
there just
price has
isn't
just
like,
been high for them.
yeah. So but I think it's almost shifted in the way that like the Chiefs aren't having to lay as many points as they should. Like I think it passed over equilibrium and shifted too far. So do I think that the line moved too much? Maybe, but I do think that the Chiefs perhaps are, the more I look at it, should be laying more points. Even though they're not covering, they still should be. So maybe not in the even then, like you could make an argument that like even the line on the Giants game should have been 13, or is like just considering like when the Chiefs offense is running and how they're coached, like they don't, like they step on the neck, you know what I mean? So, and that was a mistake I made with them earlier, right? Like, oh, it's 14, that's just way too many points. Well, you know, when they don't practice clock management, they bomb it all the time. I guess it kind of is, right? Dude, this is another fumble.
It goes back to the what Mickey said about luck with fumbles. There's been 4 fumbles in the last like 8 plays, and all of them have been fell on by the
That's
Colts.
yeah, if you include the Jets one, yeah.
I think we gotta win sneak here. Way too late getting to the line of scrimmage. The live line is Colts minus 20. Colts minus 3,233. And the OU is like 53 or 54. It's very high.
Those are like numbers where like I don't want to book action numbers. You know what I mean? They're so big. That's how you do it, right? I really like Frank Wright, you know. And it's another one of those like bingo points at the Big Ryan the Fat Guy stream is we're going to talk about how running backs are overrated, and same with wide receivers, and then going it on 4th down, the fluidity of it. Well, we gotta check that bingo, right? And there you go. They just line up and do it. It's not even a question, and it's for sure the right decision, you know.
They had a Wentz lined up at receiver. I don't know who took that snap.
Jake Ellinger, rookie from Texas.
What a weird play.
Oh, you got to refresh the NFL website. Good call, Josh Allen. Wait, Jake Ellinger was a linebacker that died. Jack Doyle touchdown. Sam Ellinger is the... I just had it in my head. It's an Andy Reid ripoff, but executed very well. There's 4 options on that play. That's tough to stop. Aside from just the thing you have to do every time, get pressure.
Mm-hmm.
You get interior pressure, it doesn't matter those 4 options. They're gone. That's why like even though quarterback's the most important position in all of sports, Aaron Donald has like a special carve out in terms of win probability. Interior pressure is just monumentally important. I've never actually looked, but I wonder how like Aaron Donald went 11th, right? In that draft, I believe. The Rams drafted him 11th. Like, how are you this good in the NFL? Like what was missed in college, right? Like if you're beating up the NFL that bad, like how, I don't know. I'm just curious what was missed like over his college tape, because we weren't watching tape back then. 13th, my mistake.
I think it's just because he was like a little bit undersized. Like kind of like a tweener between, like, is he a defensive end? Is he a D tackle?
Look at that draft pick, Justin Gilbert. Are you serious? Out of all of that, that's what you come away with?
Well, they also drafted Johnny Manziel.
Could you do any worse if you tried?
Well, I'm just looking at the guys who aren't highlighted, like bolded. You have Justin Gilbert, Ryan Shazier, who had a freak injury.
He was a good player. Nothing wrong with him.
Calvin Pryor,
complete bust. Didn't work out.
Johnny Manziel,
complete bust. Marcus Smith couldn't play. Complete bust. Benjamin, low effort. Dominic Easley, complete bust. Everyone else is fine. Like, had some sort of playing success or is still in the league.
And then you look down and Joel Bitonio, pick 35, was a stalwart.
Yeah, like he's one of the best guards in the league, right?
I didn't realize Derek Carr wasn't a first round pick.
Oh, I'm surprised you didn't know that. He went to Fresno. Yeah, Fresno State.
I know Jay's been really busy with work. I think he's just been frustrated by the bad streak. This was a pretty deep draft, this 2014 draft.
Pretty good. Like, even the guys that aren't in the league anymore, like, they've made impact. You know what I mean? On like, they've impacted games. Aside from everyone the Browns have drafted, minus Joe Bitonio. Gilbert and Manziel, too. Those are 2 of the worst characters out of anyone in the first round. You know what I mean? Great run, Carter. You could say what you want about Blake Bortles and stuff. He's still in the league. You know what I mean? Like, we didn't like it as a draft pick at the time. He's still in the league. Man, the Jets been getting big chunk plays out of like passes that are largely behind the line of scrimmage.
They've actually coached a pretty good game considering,
Yeah.
who they've had at quarterback, and at least offensively. Defensively, hasn't.
Not everything's going to go your way either, right? Like, you can coach a good game and get smoked. Kind of like I felt like the Chargers against the Ravens. Like, they tried to win at every point. It just didn't work out.
That Darius Leonard punch out was key.
Yeah. Like, think about, like, what a great thing to get good at. You know what I mean? Like, think of the win probability shift on that. That ruined, like, that's so much big. Like, a turnover is just so massive. Great catch, Tyler Croft.
That run should take us to the 2-minute warning.
Bengals have had some bizarre like tight end production. They had Tyler Eifert, who he was a serious touchdown threat when he was
Well, it was like him, Ertz, and Gronkowski at one point. Those were the three guys.
Those were I think Eifert got more touchdowns per game than those guys, but he was never healthy and he was never a complete player in comparison. But and then CJ Uzoma has had these like bizarre multi-touchdown games. Remember Marvin Jones had multiple 3 and 4 touchdown games and then nothing or hurt for so much of it. And then Marvin Jones has been healthy the last 3-4 years. Just probability is weird. Natural probability, that is.
The Bengals have one of the strongest like skill position groups in the league.
Currently, yeah.
But they've put a lot of draft capital into those guys.
Yeah, they have. I hit my first middle, and
Yeah.
at a prime time. No, not recently. Prime time, Kansas City, Indy. I think it was prime time. The number I needed was 10. It was 9 or 10 now I think about it. Middling 9 seems weird, but so I'm going to say 10. Around 2008. This reminds me of that for some reason, even though I have no middling in play. See the closing speed on Buckner? Oh, it was Rochelle. Holy smokes. It's hard to imagine the real world strength and speed of those guys. You know what I mean?
Unbelievable.
Like,
It's unbelievable. It really is. It's so scary.
just think about this. Think about something silly like he's with his wife and you steal his purse and you run away. You're like, oh, this big guy can't catch me. You would be dead wrong. You would be seriously hurt.
If I play quarterback, I'd be like Cam Newton. I definitely wouldn't feel safe.
No, no, and it's not designed that way either. What a fun position D line is, though. I still like all the stories my brother-in-law told me about playing against. My brother-in-law played in the Shrine Bowl, and him explaining the athleticism of these defensive linemen, or sorry, offensive linemen, because he was a D lineman, and he goes, "You don't even know the guys on my side." He goes, "I got single because he had he didn't never got double teamed because he was the Canadian, this undersized Canadian." He goes, "You don't even understand how athletic those guys are. So they're always benching 500 pounds and stuff." I can't imagine that, like 500 pounds. Holy smokes! I'm bringing that term back. Holy smokes! I like it.
Live line's 18.5. OU 55.
I'm wearing one of my Cleveland Browns t-shirts. Oldest and most beat up one. It's 10 years old and I love it.
It looks great.
It's fantastic.
You play a lot of street hockey growing up?
Lots.
Any of the dads ever come out and play?
They did. Are you alluding to a story?
I don't know. Do you have one?
Yeah. Well, one of the dads came out when he used to be like rough with us when we were like 10 and like physically dominate us. But then when like we were around 14, he was smaller than everybody. And it didn't like one of the bigger guys. I remember him like getting in the rough stuff with one of the bigger guys, and like it wasn't going well for him. So I don't want to name drop like dox anybody. It was great. I was always the goalie. I was skinny back then. I was a lot more agile. Like now, I couldn't even imagine. I couldn't even imagine playing. Because remember, it was hours. Like you must have done it.
Yeah.
Like in your neighborhood at the top of the cul-de-sac, you must have played for hours.
Oh yeah, we played pretty much every day.
Yeah. And your brother probably played with you guys. I would imagine he'd be pretty good at it.
He was, but he was a couple years younger, right? We played with the guys that were older, so a
Oh,
lot of
so he
those
was
guys.
really young.
Yeah, but that's how you get good, right? If you're young and you get to play
Yeah.
with people that are older than you, that's the easiest way to get good at a sport.
That's true, actually. When I was
It's
9,
very true.
I played with 10 and 11-year-olds.
On the flip side, I played with kids my brother's age, which were 2 years younger, in ice hockey growing up. So I was always the best by far, and I was like Gordie Howe out there playing. I was 7, everyone else is 5. Like I dominated, and then
Yeah.
the second I had to play with kids my own age, I was like,
Oh,
yeah,
absolutely.
I'm not doing this. This is unfair. But I had the exact opposite experience with like basketball. I always played with guys 2-3 years older. Made me a lot better player.
Yeah, but you were good at basketball. You were just tiny.
Yeah, but I was good
terrible
because
at
I got.
basketball.
Not only was I tiny, I just played against older, stronger people for a long
Yeah.
time. So you learn the tricks of the trade, let's say. What a nice throw from Wentz.
Oh, did that get caught though?
Yeah. At least it looked
don't-
like it.
They should run a play here quickly.
Oh, that's close.
I have no idea. Like, does an ankle count?
The ball looks like it's still
Oh, his
moving,
shin's down. Oh, the ball moved at the end. That's not a catch.
but it's in the final
They
2
should run a
minutes.
play
This has
here.
to be a booth review. Do we see the Jets take just a very, very weird timeout here?
Yeah. There's very little protesting on that catch too. It's almost better he didn't catch that. Basketball is a great measurement of athleticism. At 17, I could dunk. Now I don't think I could touch the netting.
Yeah.
Like just like the gap, you know what I mean? It really is. That was a decent run. I think the Jets might have to take an injury timeout here, which would benefit the Colts clearly.
They just subbed
No,
the
he meant to get
entire
off the
D line.
field. Dude, it looks light too up the gut. And it is.
Probably see a Colts timeout here.
I like this team. I like this coaching.
No, they're ready to go.
Dude, this team is efficient, eh?
It's nice to see.
When you think of like how badly, like in the YouTube comments on our last video, I ragged on the Saints. The one guy said the reason the Saints were trying to throw the balls because they know Tom Brady can go the length of the field. It was like the worst response I've ever heard. The whole idea is to decrease the other team's chances, right? By giving them less time. And then you go from that type of Saints ineptitude, which is commonplace some on the NFL, to this. Like that play they just ran, they didn't have to use a timeout. They got that out of bounds. Like, is there something better than that? What just happened? Now they take a timeout. Fuck, these guys are good, man. And how much time is going to be left on the clock for the Jets? Almost nothing.
This has been a really impressive drive for the Colts.
And that play, though, was something else, though. When there was, 30 seconds left, they got off a play within 8 seconds and got out of bounds. Like, come on. Like, that's awesome.
It's a good time to bring up that the Jets had the ball, I think, second and 10, had like the 20 at the 2-minute warning, and they decided to run two passing plays that ended up being incomplete. So there's still like 150 on the clock by the time the Colts got the ball.
It's weird when you get down to the 2-minute warning, or in that scenario, let's just say what you just said, is you have to think in terms of not just you scoring, but also limiting your opponent. And this is a team that clearly does that, the Colts. Because even if they settle for a field goal and they get the ball, that's fine. Oh my goodness.
Very rare you see a ball get punched out that late.
It's so weird. It looks like a touchdown in slow motion, but in real time, it looks like a incomplete pass.
It honestly looked like a football move, him bringing the ball back down to his body, which isn't a good thing for me, but and the Colts get the ball to start the half. Like, just a dominant Colts performance so far.
Oh, they might call it a touchdown.
I like how this play is getting reviewed, but the one that was incomplete on the sideline didn't get a look.
Yeah, yeah. Here, this is another thing that's kind of interesting. The Colts have ran good this game. So 4 fumbles, 4 recoveries by the Colts. You could say 3 or 2.5, like, because some aren't confirmed. What I felt was a clear no catch on the sideline, not even reviewed. And then this, like, if this goes their way, right, like, that's also a run good, right? Because a lot of these calls, they're I don't know, there's a probability to it, it seems, right? Because we haven't exactly seen consistency, right? I like this coach. I really, really, really do. It also makes you wonder, like, how much of an impact did he have on like Philadelphia? Like, how integral was he for their success during that time?
Probably quite a bit.
Was it John Hussey? I haven't even noticed him all game, which is usually a good thing for a referee. It is John Hussey. Touchdown.
And I'm fine with that. Like, it looked like a football move. He was bringing the ball back down to his body. I don't know if that's still the rule, but
I'm fine with it too. But this goes back to me saying this is a bit of run good for the Colts. Like, everything that was close has gone their way too. And then here you go. You're riding a blowout.
and barring anything crazy in the last 12 seconds, a 38-point first half.
What's different about this team? I really like them playing with a lead. The Colts, like, this is a team that's pretty built for playing with a lead.
Well, just even decision-wise.
Yeah. That might be the most important thing. It was kind of like the duality of them versus the Bills. I know it's a game that I magnify a lot, but it's just the gap in philosophy is just enormous, right? Because that was a game. That was a game where, like, when you look at like the talent gap in quarterback, like the Bills have such an enormous edge, right? Like Josh Allen versus that version of Phillip Rivers, it's not close at all, right? And you're still limited on offense, but the coaching gap is what I felt enormous. And here we go, clock management. There's going to be 12 seconds left for the Jets, who are most certainly going to kneel. Like, you can't really do it better than that, can you?
It's great.
And speaking of bad coaching too, like I'm not selling out Robert Saleh or Sean McDermott. I think there's a possibility those could get rectified. Whereas someone like Joe Judge, it just feels like ignorant. You know what I mean? Like there was way more culpability in the Kansas City game, and the decisions are perplexing, right? Like one you go for automatically, and then one you automatically don't go for it when they, you know what I mean? Like the forethought isn't quite there, and I always hate that too. That unprepared to make decisions. Did someone say they had the over on Wentz rushing yards?
Yeah, Josh Allen did 9.5.
This is like some veteran cynicism. A kneel or two could kill it if he doesn't get any more, and that's so true. Like, I like how you're over. Like, that's the only one that's like ever in danger as a quarterback rushing one. You're over, but it's like a threat if it's a very like low rushing quarterback, let's call it. What's the over under on Phillip Rivers was like a half yard? I always like that one. And it was usually juiced on the under too.
Brady too.
Yeah. But Brady you can kind of count on for a sneak. interesting that Mark Sanchez got this gig.
Why do you say that?
I just he wasn't like the most popular figure, you know what I mean? Like I don't see him as beloved, right?
It's a little eye candy for the viewers at home.
I guess that is right. Officer Kington or Agent Kington. Sorry, watch my own gag. Dude, that run is a lot better. That Naeem Hines touchdown run than like from the angle that we saw. Well, they might pull Jonathan Taylor. That's interesting. Probably precautionary. Like this game's pretty good. Who's if Mac is a healthy scratch, then I like Naeem
They
Hines is
released
capable, like we
Wilkins.
said. What's that?
They released Jonathan Wilkins.
So who do we got then?
I think it's just Hines and him. Maybe they have a fullback. Let me take a look. They have a player named Deion Jackson. 6 foot 217. College free agent from this year.
That's a reasonable size. Where'd you see it? Our lads?
Yeah.
Mickey Hill, Colts -6.5, second half -105. That seems like a sharp play. Obviously, we don't have a calculator in this spot, but that seems right to me. Interesting that Deion Jackson got like the start over Marlon Mack. Kind of curious about that now.
Well, Mac has been allegedly on like the trading block.
Yeah. Well, he was the starter over Taylor until his injury last year.
They've probably got the best running back trio in the league, to be honest, with Mac and Taylor and Hines.
You think so?
Yeah.
I disagree, but I think Cleveland does.
Yeah.
Chubb,
Cleveland's
Hunt,
another.
Ernest Johnson.
That's another great one.
Tough to beat that, right?
Taylor's kind of got the edge on all of them right now as far as production goes.
Yeah, I guess that's true, right? And then I guess if you're putting health into this, you could make that case, I think.
The fact that Mac's a healthy scratch is a pretty telling sign, though, like
Yeah, that's a good
how
point.
strong they are at running back at the moment.
Trying to think who else I really like. I kind of like the Texans. I guess they traded Mark Ingram, which I guess that kind of kills that. The Raiders are okay. Josh Jacobs, Kenyon Drake, Peyton Barber, Jalen Richard.
Yep.
Cowboys, Elliott, Tony Pollard, Corey Clement. That's okay.
Yep.
Trying to think what else is in the Packers, Aaron Jones, AJ Dillon. That's a pretty good crew. I like. Kamara Ingram, Dwayne Washington is big for the Saints. Edmonds and James Conner is decent for Arizona as well. Those have got to be it. Yeah, I didn't think you were so close to having, like, I thought your statement was a little bit off, and then I'm looking at it, I'm like, yeah, that's pretty reasonable. It's pretty much them in Cleveland if you really think about it.
Yeah, and that's to me really the strength of Cleveland too is the third guy they have. Like I forget his exact name. It's like Fenton or Felton or something like that.
Yeah.
He's played really well as a receiving back. Who else is there other than Hunt and
well,
Chubb?
It's Nick Chubb, Ernest Johnson.
Yeah, like I don't even count D'Ernest Johnson, but he came in and played a terrific game
against the Broncos, and that's not an easy team to like have that type of day.
Yeah.
I still like that run at the end of the game. He could have ran and scored a touchdown, but he said he slid and they win the game. Like, it's just, you love it. You love to see it, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Ooh, and their fifth running back is John Kelly. Like, that's a guy that has
NFL experience.
And then, like, another weird one is Baltimore. Latavius Murray, Devonta Freeman, Le'Veon Bell, Tyson Williams. And then don't forget, like, the guys they have on injured reserve. Gus Edwards and what's his name?
J.K.
The other
Dobbins.
big running back. J.K. Dobbins, yeah. And Justice Hill.
A lot of those guys though came off the street, like they didn't have a team. Like
no,
they're probably just waiting for the right situation, and it just so happened to be Baltimore. But it's a lot of experience.
Yeah, it is a lot of experience. But isn't that the way to go at running back then? It's not like they're paying those guys a lot of money, right?
You can make an argument either way, right? Like you can draft guys that have success in the 4th, 5th round that are cheaper.
Speaking of bad running back rooms, though, like I'm not a big fan of Atlantis. Like Cordarrelle Patterson's your guy. Like it's just strange, right?
He's played great.
Yeah. I guess Dalvin Cook, Alexander Madison is a good combo too. There's no real bad ones. Philadelphia's got Kenneth Gainwell and Boston Scott. I mean, the Giants just have Devontae Booker. That's a pretty bad situation currently.
If I'm the Jets, I'm trying an onside kick to start this half.
I think you're 100% spot on. What's the difference? Like, You like suggested hard there. Like I almost believed it. I was like, yeah, they're gonna do that. That was a big hit. 56. Holy smokes. That guy's hurt. Is that Chester Rogers?
Isaiah Rogers, sixth round pick from 2020, cornerback. They got him listed as a starter at corner, so.
Why is Frank on the field?
Izzo asked, how about the new Gore? It's still way too early, but he had a nice showing. But I wouldn't put him in the same group that we just talked about with all those other running backs.
There was a prop. There was a 25-1 on that guy getting a touchdown. I saw it on the internet. What a mispricing that was. Well, then, is it really a mispricing? Do I know that? Actually, I'm going to say it is just because of the amount of snaps he played. Right? He happened to get a touchdown, sure, but he played so many snaps and near the goal line too.
I guess you're just going off the guy's only played I think he had 5 rushing attempts before yesterday.
Lost connection for a second there. Yikes. And we're back. Holy smokes, man. How is that a 6-yard gain?
That's one of the strengths for Jonathan Taylor. He's very, very patient runner.
You know what that makes more impressive? That Davis tackled 21 on the Jets when he grabbed him around the leg on a one-on-one.
Mm-hmm.
God, how daunting of a task would that be, eh? Just so hard to win games if the other team can run at this efficiency.
Well, Taylor's not overly elusive in the open field. He's not one of those types of guys, but he's just very efficient with his running. What a block by Mo Alley Clocks.
I like this team so much. I like what Mickey said, though, about the crisis plays in Wentz. 43 kind of screwed himself. He almost positioned himself to get blocked. But, you take out these crisis, there's only been the one crisis play against, for the Colts. This just looks like a well-oiled machine, right? It's can you do this against the good teams, right? That's the issue, right? Like this season, it's gonna be very hard for them to make the playoffs, but like doesn't mean you can't finish 10-7 or what have you. It's always hard to say 10-7 because you're like 10-6. Holy jeez. Mickey Hill, great question. Have the Colts had penalties tonight? Not that I recall. Man, and is he open? You can't really get more open than that either, eh?
He ran that route really well.
The lineman thought it was a touchdown. This would be a fun day of work for a Colts lineman today.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm surprised Braden Smith 72 didn't run and push the pile there. Now they're going to lose Marcus May to injury potentially. That's not good.
Zero penalties for the Colts tonight. Only 3 for the Jets.
This is a pretty good game by them. Like, I'm in a survivor. It's a 2-striker. There's 30 guys. 4 eliminated. 22 have a strike, and I'm one of the 4 that doesn't. But I keep avoiding like the big ones. Like almost everyone took the Colts in this one. So just by game theory, I went the opposite. Kind of like last week, Cincinnati gave almost everybody a strike. And I've done some pretty risky ones. Like I took Atlanta Falcons against the Jets on the in Atlanta. So I took another oddball one, Steelers against the Bears. I feel like I still have more work to do on that, but I feel like that's got to be the best way. Is take the ones that are slightly worse because the win probability is like, I think the Steelers are still like a minus 235 in that realm, minus 266, right? You know, and then most teams are gone. So, like, even if you took the Saints is minus 287, or this game, I think was a lot higher, but still. Cowboys are minus 454. I might switch to that now. Do they have live team season win totals? I'm sure they do. Not that I've ever heard or seen, though.
I know Pinnacle doesn't, but you should be able to find it somewhere.
Oh, we got a Carson Wentz run here. Good for Josh Allen. That was close to a touchdown. Now we have the question. This one I don't care either way. It's actually probably better to go for a field goal, maybe. I'm curious what the bot says.
I'll look it up. It's going to be hard to convince me that it's not better to go for it here because you can make it a three-score game.
And true, if you turn it over at the, it'd be a 3-score game anyways. They're up 18-21, but you turn it over at the 2-yard line against this. Yeah, they didn't get it. This isn't exactly a tough spot or an easy spot rather for the Jets, though. Let's be real. Not good for Mickey here. Maybe it won't matter, though. Oh, the live team total. Oh, I don't know. I don't know what it would be. I don't know if Pinnacle offers that. Do they? Let me check Bet365.
I think he's meaning like it'd be nice to bet the Colts over wins.
Yeah, that's what I thought he meant.
Yeah.
But then now he says live team total. Man, you can bet on every
Colts
drive.
Team total is 38 right now for points in this game. Jets are 16.5. It'd be hard to schedule Super Bowl rematches if they did it on purpose.
Yeah, it's. I always it's like conspiracy theories come out of the scheduling. Like, how do they know? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Oh my goodness, close. That's close. I don't know if he made the line of scrimmage. It's not a safety though. That was close. And this has got to be the funnest symbol to do.
It is pretty fun with all the defensive players running around the refs usually.
yeah.
It's never like straightforward. The refs always have such a tough time calling safeties for some reason.
I always want to know, how is it not straightforward? And it seems like they never want to call it too.
Jets jump.
Everybody but the center, we got one of those.
You might as well just like hard count until you get them to jump. Like,
didn't you do that to me in Madden once? You took like 10 penalties in a row and it was really annoying.
Sounds like something I would do.
Oh,
That was close.
oh man.
This punt would be something to watch. I actually wouldn't mind it.
And at the end of the day, what does it do? Like, you know what I mean? Like you're in such a rock and a hard place. Oh, I thought that ball was coming out. Just the angle of that hit.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like that's a success for the Jets right there. One of those ones where you could go ahead.
I said strangely it is, but that's what factors into that fourth down decision, right?
Yeah. Because like this is a good spot. I almost feel like the Jets have to go for that though. The 4th and 3. I don't know.
If they were trying to win the game, they probably should.
Yeah.
But they definitely won the field position battle with that kick. We might have the first penalty of the night on the Colts.
Yeah, which would move it back to what's that, the 45 now? So oh, is this illegal touching?
Oh, the player never came back in bounds, so it's just another penalty on the Jets.
And there you go. So that's now it's a 45. They're 45. Always find it interesting that that's unsportsmanlike conduct. Oh, they're going to elect to get re-kicked. I like it. That. I don't mind that at all. Oh, now they're adding it. Oh. You know what's even better about going for it? I just realized is like if you end up in this like weird paradigm where neither of you can kind of get things going, it's it's going to waste a lot of time.
Mm-hmm.
And you are technically up 3 scores. You're up 18, right? Like, you know, 2 majors and a minor to. They need 2 majors and a minor to catch up. With conversions too.
That's what I mean. Like 18 to 21 to me doesn't make a huge difference.
That's a good point. Because
18
like
to 25 is a big one, right? Because now you're technically at a 4-score game.
4-score game. Yeah, there's no way. Yeah, that's a good point. And then also too, like this time thing. Like this could take all quarter what they just did.
Mm-hmm.
And wouldn't being on the analytics side be much more exciting? It'd be so. Think about how demoralizing it would be. Say you have the best analytics guy. He works for the New York Giants. You come up with this groundbreaking strategy that no one's employing, and then the guy goes, "I don't listen to that Excel stuff." And then think of if you work for the Colts, he's like, "Tell me everything." I would imagine at least, right?
Yeah, it seems like that way. Some of these guys get better and make good decisions, and some don't.
Because I think remember that that chart. I think the Colts were number 2, right, from good decision making according to that bot, and the Browns were number 1. Bed Baldwin.
So the that Colts play on their 4th and 1, it was 1% plus expected value to go for it.
That's very good. I like that's another thing too. I think you know what's nice about analytics and what's kind of went down here is people are starting to realize like they're starting not to underestimate small numbers, right? Like 1% compounded is like a massive. Like you might be able to get a whole win out of it over a season theoretically, right?
Yeah. So Colts end up starting with this ball on the 40.
Dude, that's man. Wonder what that penalty cost and win probability. Look at this space. How did he get so many yards too? I think he's got better vision than Taylor when you look at these runs.
Well, he's more elusive in the open field, that's for sure.
Yeah. But he's also got like that turn the corner speed. This has been some really impressive stuff. Like there's no good reason for you to bust up Mosley that bad on that angle. Like,
well, that's what all these, we don't like them, but that's what all these teams want to draft, these like smaller type players, is because this is what they're good at. Like in the open field, they can pick up 40 yards if there's an opening or a mistake.
But they end up with Tavon Austin almost every time. And that's not even the worst one. Do you know what I mean? Look at this Tough Mudder running. This might be on Taylor, hands to the face.
Space Spear has he's come from the future, and he's let us know that the Colts are going to win 44-23.
That would be a very interesting score. Oh, it's on defense. Yikes. He did have a finger in. This is another one when we're talking about all Colts. That's pretty run good. Do you know what I mean? Like, like you could have called that either way or no called it, right? There's 3 events that are probably all equal. I guess you're gonna call the defense more often on that, and then instead you call against the Jets, as if you needed this extra yard or whatever. Oh, tight end wide open. There he is. Oh, is that an old lineman? Big man TD. Yeah, we haven't seen one in a while.
Danny Pinter, not even a guy I'm familiar with.
Yeah. There's very few guys you aren't familiar with. And he actually had to make like an awkward catch too. Oh, and a revelation from Joe Buck, the first career reception from Danny Pinter.
Awesome. What was the famous John Madden quote? I love to watch a fat guy score because then you get to watch the fat guy dance.
I've never heard that, but that sounds great.
I highly doubt it goes under, Josh, but for your sake, I hope I hope the over hits. The live OU is 59. The book has the final score at 42-16. Really 42-17.
So Mickey's covering by half a point then on his second half.
I think so.
I
Right
like
now
that
he's favored to win by, I don't know, 3.5 points, somewhere around there.
Oh, a nice offer from Jake Jacobs. We will definitely take you up on that. If you want to post the
I'll post our email.
yeah, please do. Thank you, Jake. That's a nice offer. Interesting to poke through that. This has got to be disaster for the Jets, though, in terms of like, obviously it's not good. Like I'm not pointing out anything not obvious, but like you have to throw to come back with your third string quarterback. You can't really write a worse horror story than that. And then they run. Boy, do I have egg on my face, eh?
Well, the Jets aren't playing to win. They're
No.
just playing to get out of this game.
It's so bizarre though, isn't like I don't get why it's not every game is do or die. Like are you checking the email?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I got it.
Thank you, Jake. That's a very nice offer.
So we have common fourth down decisions, end of first half fourth down decisions, fourth quarter strategies, trailing, tied and leading, 2-minute clock management. So it looks like this is for college sports or college football.
Oh my goodness. That's a house call already.
Well, that's great for
Fantasy
Mickey.
for you and Mickey.
It's great for Josh Allen. He hits the over.
Oh man. You know what's nice? My brother-in-law, who I got him to draft, like he asked me for a sheet to draft, so I made him one. And began it with Jonathan Taylor, and he's like, "Oh, this has been tough so far." He's like, "Yeah, but I'm just gonna ride it out." I'm like, "Yeah, it's all you can do." And then I hope he's pleased now.
He might be the best player in fantasy over the last 5 or 6 weeks.
Yeah. I mean, I think he's enough. It's him and Eckler are the number one fantasy most valuable players at the moment.
Yeah.
Considering Henry's injury, because it would have been Henry, Eckler, him, and Eckler are close.
Well, Taylor started off the season slow. I'm saying over the last handful of games, he's been gangbusters. So for college football, here's an interesting start here. As offenses continue to dominate in football, the following is true. 1, Teams are more likely to convert if they go for it. 2, teams are more likely to score if they convert for a first down. 3, your opponent has a good chance of scoring even if you punt. And 4, teams need to score a lot of touchdowns to win.
It's put simply, but like sometimes that's what like you have to write things to communicate a certain way. Do you know what I mean? Like if and then you expand on these really simple ideas. It's probably the best way of going. This is a severe beatdown. Holy smokes. You should hear what Troy Aikman just said. It's rare that you get to yuck it up on the sidelines because you're beating a team so bad.
It is rare.
He's right. It's just funny. Like it's like salt in the wound almost. And he just said, I'd hate to be a New York Jet. Elongated pause on Monday morning. I'm surprised they don't practice on Sunday if you have a game on Thursday. I guess who knows what the NFLPA has, like how that all works out and stuff. Nice screen. I'm surprised Carter didn't run the other direction, but that was a nice completion. Is that Mims?
Yeah.
He said Aikman's comparing this to his '89 season with the Cowboys where he didn't win a game.
It seems about right.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of info here on this.
Thank you for that, Jake. Like that's a nice. Like I didn't even know that existed. It's nice that there's examples too, right? Josh Wilson looks like he's 16.
He is Zach Wilson.
There's not a liquor store in the country that's not IDing him. Nice touchdown. Wow. Nice drive. You didn't expect this from the Jets.
appreciate this, Jake. This is really helpful. There's actually like a lot more opinion stuff in here than I would have thought.
That's from 2019. Who knows if it's like, do you know what I mean? Like it's it might have advanced from then. I'm not sure how like math intensive these are. Do you know what I mean?
They don't go into specifics on the math, at least that I can see so far, but they do talk about like going for it, not going for it. Big stop for Mickey.
Yeah, it is a big stop, actually. So weird. Like, man, gambling can make anything interesting, eh? What kind of kick is that? Ooh. Just go, like, I always wonder, like, when it's shaky like that, why not just go down? Like, what's the 3 yards? 3 to 10 yards? Like, what does that do? You know what I mean?
It's tough, right? Like, different players have different levels of awareness, or, you know, a lot of these guys are used to taking it to the house, right? Like on a kick return,
That's
so they just assume, like, I'm going to be able to do it here.
But there's got to be, like, I don't know, but still, like, the special teams coaching, shouldn't it just be like, listen, man, the number one thing is not you taking to the house, it's you know what I mean? Like, protecting this ball. But that's also, that strategy is dynamic too, even that. Like, if you're the Jets, I would rather the guy try to get a little extra. Do you know what I mean? Because whereas, like, if you're the Colts, protecting the ball should be number one. I don't know if that makes sense for if you run a simulation on it, but I would imagine that type of strategy is dynamic here.
Well, like what we just saw, like, even if they pretty much just said, even if it's a great special teams play, it's still more likely that the team's going to come down and score on you. Like, keeping possession and having the ball is more important than anything.
They have 260 rush yards. Oh, man. You see the size difference on that one. Holy.
Yep. Well, this is the reason why we don't like a player like a running back like
generally speaking, yes. Joe Buck is tearing into Troy Aikman about his college career. This is awesome. He said that Aikman went to OU for the easy ride, just handing it off.
It's pretty good.
It's really good. Who was a running back then when he would have? It might have been Bo Jack. No, that was Auburn. Sorry, who is Oklahoma? I can't remember now. That's another fun name, Rigoberto Sanchez.
It says Aikman played UCLA,
Oh,
but high school he played Oklahoma.
I guess, yeah.
Eric Ball was the running back for Troy Aikman in his final year.
I don't know Eric Ball.
Gaston Green the year before that. And it looks like he only played 2 years.
Oh, Aikman transferred to UCLA. There you go. Oh, I guess that was the gag then. So Barry Switzer dumped the wishbone for Aikman. He broke his leg the first game. They went back to the wishbone and won the national championship. And then in a weird train of events, Barry Switzer becomes the head coach after Jimmy Johnson. Am I correct in that? That's so like, it's so bizarre. Yes, and Aikman hate. Yeah, I watched a thing on that recently. It might have been YouTube. Sometimes I get like recommendations for like, I don't know, like classic football stuff, and it was him talking about how like light Switzer took it at practice, and he really didn't like it, and like how rough Aikman was on the guys because Aikman wanted to win more. He felt like. Mickey's got a sweat here. He's the only one keeping us alive, alive in terms of action. Why did he take that outside lane on that last decision? Johnson making plays.
Just so much different when the game becomes kind of out of hand.
Yeah, like the ease at which, like kind of like you and I don't think. Did you watch the Houston Rams game on the weekend?
I watched it up to 38-0 and then I turned it off, but that's the exact example I was going to bring up, that however
Like,
unlikely it is, like still NFL players.
yeah, yeah. You know what I mean? And like Think if you're Josh Johnson, is there anyone more motivated on the field than him? You're a
Nope.
third string quarterback, right? Like you want some tape to draw on, right? It would be financially fruitful for me if Wentz threw for 250 yards.
What's the? I've got the stats here. We'll see where he's at. He's at 218 now. I'll be back in just a minute.
I don't know. What do you think the line for remaining Carson Wentz passing yards is? It probably is like 30 or 40. Cause like 30 does even like you need them to get stuffed on the run twice in a row.
This Jets team just hasn't done itself any favors this year. Like the offense has been bad and like the defense has been okay, but not good enough for how their offense has played.
This is a poor roster though. Like there's more like I have more faith in this effort than the Jags, who I had like a better decision making game on the weekend. Or how about let me think here. Who else? The Lions, I feel like have made an effort too. It's so weird how quarterbacks, as they're getting hit, they're like looking where the ball goes. You know what I mean? Like seeing it off. It's kind of cool. Very softy though so far here. At least it's like pure 4 down territory. So like there's no like weird threat.
You'd think that, but like I just don't know what I just don't know what to expect, right? Like it doesn't
That's a
feel
good
like they're
point.
trying to win. It feels like Salah feels like the kind of guy that could go for some moral victories, like some moral victory field goals.
I still don't get it. I don't. It's like that Jeff Fisher. We got to score points. Remember that one?
Yeah. Man, how lucky are we? We get to see the Giants, now the Jets on primetime back to back. What a treat.
Free play.
Yeah, no kidding. I've liked what I've seen from the Colts linebackers tonight.
If you take out the third quarter, like, I don't know if they had the same effort level. Sorry, did you say Laurent Duvernay-Tardif at guard?
Yeah, he just got traded there.
The Chiefs traded him?
I believe so, unless he got released and picked up, but he's now on the Jets. He didn't actually start the season. Like, he was injured to start the season, and I think last game was his first active game.
I thought he was healthy scratch last game.
He was I think he was active. I think he was active, but he just wasn't playing. I remember you did see him, or did reference seeing him.
Wow. The swag ball flip too. Nicky's in trouble here. Offensive juggernaut, New York Giants, led by journeyman Josh Johnson.
You mean the Jets?
Did I say Giants?
Yeah.
It happens. A lot of acorns these days, and I don't even remember. That's how bad I am. That memory thing, I really took it for granted. This is horrible. Horrible.
Hey, join the club.
But you never had one, so you don't know what it's like.
Yeah, I can't remember. The Live-O used 73.5. It happens. It's the result.
Yeah. I could understand like the Colts scoring, but it's hard to imagine like in this situation the Jets putting up the points that they have.
Well, it's just been the perfect storm of like the Colts scoring at will and the Jets getting points because the Colts are scoring at will. Pretty unlikely because they're down what 19 points right now.
Yeah, and the Colts have the ball. Number one scoring offense and defense for the Bills. Wow.
That means they've given up the least points. Is that what they mean by number one scoring defense? Or does that mean that they've scored the most points off turnovers?
I don't actually know. Well, there's the pass yards over maybe for Josh Jacobs. They might be inclined. Oh, 28. He's not there yet. So what are we at? Was that 218? So we're at 246. He needs 4 and change. Well, that's a good start. This is a nice play. He attempted a pass there. Ooh, Wentz. I mean, if there was a time to excise caution. Is it 4 or 5? And there it is. That's it.
Congrats, Jake.
The low OU. That's no way. That's a catch? Dude, it's players are just getting better, man. This stuff happens way more than I. No. I don't think that's a catch. That was great though. I think players are getting a lot better. Like this stuff, like I don't remember this many. But again, we've been talking about how bad my memory's been recently. So
Well, how big of an advantage is it? Like I've been bashing Hines and then praising him like play after play, but if you get him matched up on a linebacker and you can throw that ball to him, like there's no linebacker that can cover that.
no, no. I'm trying to think who's like what would be the best option for something like that.
It's
Like
got to
Isaiah
be the
Simmons.
anal zone. I don't know. Like it's just so tough, right? Like I think you always talk about corner. Like I think linebacker is the most unfair position right now in football. Just to think that
Oh,
you have
because you're
to,
drafted to get picked on.
yeah.
Okay, I can
Most of
see that
these,
argument now.
well, most of these guys can't even guard tight ends. Never mind running backs. You want to know what's ironic about this? Is I feel like the Colts are actually throwing the ball because they don't want to wear down Taylor.
that 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 might that seems like not unreasonable, right? It's just like, is there a wrong answer really to play this game out? I guess.
Well, like the Colts can almost do everything wrong and still win
Yeah.
with how much of a lead they have.
The money badger. Oh, and then they gave a callback. Look at my preemptive commentary.
I've never heard people call them the Money Badger.
I think he did as a joke, or
He
someone on
called
his team,
himself.
and or who knows, like maybe Twitter, like stupid social media stuff. I like how relevant kickers have become because of fantasy. Like the names are known.
Yeah.
I have a I have a question. Is every single like major movie star some sort of superhero in some movie? I don't feel like there's a stone unturned.
Well, the second Paul Rudd became Ant-Man, it was pretty much sealed.
Yeah, yeah, that was quick and good, and I think that's accurate. I'm just seeing like Angelina Jolie. What is she like 50? Like, all
Well,
right, I
they
guess.
just showed her. I'm like, oh, she looks pretty good for her age. But I'm like, how much of that is just like computer enhanced?
You did notice she was in a CGI. I all of a sudden I'm not fat guy if you had CGI.
So Michael Badgley nicknamed himself the Money Badger.
Oh, so all right, so it's a confirmation from Mickey.
Michael Badgley trademarks Money Badger name set to
Oh my
make 2019
goodness.
debut. So he made this name before he even played a game. Oh my
I
goodness.
think he got cut that year too. Like,
I can't remember the last superhero movie I watched. I've never been a superhero type of person.
No, me
I didn't
neither.
mind. I didn't mind Inspector Gadget, but I don't know if he counts as a superhero.
Sorry, who?
Inspector Gadget.
Oh, I love Inspector Gadget. The cartoon is unbelievably good.
My
And
superhero right now is Chef John Pierre. That guy's great. I'll throw Perry Caravello's the closest thing I'm ever gonna get to a real life superhero.
have you heard his voicemails lately?
No, but I'm looking forward to it if you're already.
Um, okay, he was at the dentist, and someone got the delivery guy to go in while he was on the dental chair and deliver fillet of fishes. And his dentist was like upset.
Yeah, I bet. Also, like, if you're a dentist, how upset can you actually get? Like, that's.
Well, it's
I
Perry
don't know.
describing it, so you can only take it with like a certain level of severity, right?
Yeah. But like
I
I've
can,
heard that. I've heard that before. Like, oh, they were upset about it. It's like, why?
yeah.
Why? Like that upset you? That ruined your. It's like the.
Oh
That was big.
man, there's some like nice plays in this game. You're a Gal Gadot fan, Mickey? Not my cup of Java.
No, no, he's talking about the old Wonder Woman.
Yeah, I forget who it was, but why not?
He's mentioned the name before.
Did Julie Newmar? No, she was Catwoman. That's way back. That's even before Mickey's time.
It was I can't even.
Linda Carter. There you go.
I just noticed this, but Josh Johnson doesn't actually have a picture on NFL.com.
Oh, he's the helmet?
Mm-hmm. The guy's a 9-year pro, and they don't have one picture of him on the entire website. Maybe he held out his NFLPA rights. It's him and Bill Belichick that you can't get into Madden. Mickey's summing it up, saying, "Well, the first Colts penalty of the night probably cost me."
Yeah.
So we have Leonard down on a running back at the bottom. Josh Johnson's numbers look pretty good considering he came in, what, the second or third drive of the game, 202 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah. You got to remember that this, you know what this reminds me of, those numbers though? Like Colin Kaepernick's numbers when he went 1-14 with the Niners. Is they're like talking about how good the numbers were. I'm like, they were down 20 in half of these games.
Yeah.
Like whoop-de-doo, right? That looked like a first down run. That was so weird. There's got to be one guy who's playing daily fantasy who just hit the jackpot.
And then there's all the guys that started Joe Flacco.
Yeah, exactly. I like how it's M.I. Carter. There's 2 Michael Carters on the team. Kind of like Connor McGovern. That's like, I'm like, how is that?
How's there 2 of those guys?
Yeah, like it's crazy.
It's just bound to happen with this many players. Like eventually, some guys are gonna have the same names.
Tywan Jones. Remember that?
Yeah. Well, even there's another guy. There's like a relatively like well-known player, and there's another guy that has the same name.
Josh Allen.
Could be Josh Allen.
The end on the Jets, high first round pick, and then obviously
the Jags.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I say Jets. Yikes, John. Or, yikes, fat guy. Self-doxing is always there. That's a fun name, Braxton Berrios.
It's weird to see the Titans as the first team in the AFC and to think that Derrick Henry's out.
Yeah, they're still in the driver's seat though. It would be a pretty big mess up if they didn't pull it off, you know.
There's so many teams in the mix in the AFC. It's awesome. It's actually really good for football.
And now the Colts with terrible tackling. I like the high shoulder pads, like of the old days, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I was never a Peyton Manning fan, but like when I reflect on it, like when I think about it, like he was a bad athlete as far as NFL standards, and he was awesome. Like it takes a special type of player to be able to pull that off.
Yeah, he's just unreal work ethic and smart
And
guy.
just ability or like mental football IQ,
Yeah.
you know. And then it's not like Tom Brady's not doing the same thing right now. He's
Yeah.
the worst athlete in the NFL by an absolute mile. The worst. And like you'd be hard pressed to turn like do you know what I mean? Like it's he's not far off the best in the game, right?
Yeah.
You know, it's actually funny. He might be better with a better team than like a Josh Allen, if that makes any sense. Wow, they almost got that out of his hands.
The live OU is 75.5.
Well, what kind of pathetic bums bet the under?
I did. The line actually moved from 47 down to 45 on the OU.
Well, you got kicked in the head there by former Ram John Franklin Myers.
Jets used their second timeout. I'm trying to remember who we picked in the contest.
I don't remember. Dude, it's been a tough year to find bets. Like, it's making me worried. I'm gonna have to figure something out. Like, you know what I mean? Like, also all the action I'm taking, like people are losing. It's not sustainable, right?
Mickey said Jets have a legit shot of covering. They kind of do.
It would be very ugly backdoor cover, but it's very possible.
In
We thought it was out
BRFG,
of reach.
we have Jets plus 10.5.
So I have a silver lining here. Oh. Yeah, that Texan backdoor last weekend, that was nuts. I was on the good side of that. Ooh, that was a big drop for the cover, eh?
Yep.
Whatever. Actually, they got 2 more attempts here.
You'd like to assume that, but
Yeah,
I still like.
because this technically this game really isn't out of reach. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you were
Well,
playing Madden, this could happen more. Like, it's possible, right? I don't know how else to explain it. Did he intercept that or no?
he sure did.
I
Oh
thought that hit the
my!
ground.
Did he get stopped at the goal line? Did they blow it dead? Like, oh, he dropped it.
No, it's not even close. I thought I heard like. Go ahead.
If the Jets punt here, this tells me a lot about Robert Saleh.
Yeah, yeah. I like that. I like that assessment. What's 34 shaking his head for? That's Rogers, the guy that got creamed earlier? And he's back? Wow.
He looked fine. He just got hit hard.
I don't know. I thought it was more damning, but I guess not.
Are they just not gonna start the play clock? Like, I don't get what's going on. Oh, there it goes. So bizarre. They're gonna get there. Oh my goodness. I've been looking at the live line. There hasn't been anything up this whole time. They still have lots of time, too, for this drive.
And out of bounds.
Aaron Jones versus Patrick Mahomes.
The narrative has changed slightly.
Fans don't love that. Smart play by Wesco, staying in bounds to make sure the clock keeps running. So how bad is Zach Wilson? Oh my goodness. Well, according to this, he's the second worst quarterback, worse than Davis Mills.
Who's the worst then?
Justin Fields.
Wow.
Best variance goes to Sam Darnold, 4-4, and he's 28th on the list. And worst variance goes to Russell Wilson, who's 2-3, but second on the list. I haven't been this excited about a backdoor possibility since this morning.
Did you get your plumbing fixed today, or?
Let's just say I was served papers. Troy Aikman still comparing this to his rookie year.
They're filling error. We've had this same.
It's something that we haven't been doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've played well today. Both quarterbacks for the Jets.
They really have. Like, this was a good performance from Josh Johnson. Like, there was some complacency from the Colts here, but I mean, I kind of get it. Wesco did.
Well, this is
he
like
almost did it again.
I know. This is kind of like what was it? San Fran Detroit too? Was it week 1? There was a similar type game where San Fran was up like 4 scores, and then Detroit almost came back to.
Yes, they did. That great callback.
It's so hard in the NFL to play like really hard defense, play in, play out for 70, 80 plays in a game.
Yeah.
And there it is. But there's a flag on the play. Josh Allen said PI.
He did a Denny Green. Let him off the hook.
Well, I was just waiting for like one of these turnovers to happen, but pretty fortunate. Like Mickey said, an Indy penalty cost him. It might have also helped him out here.
Now I have this. Okay, so I have Indy at 3 different numbers, all plus money, minus 10.5. Now you could say, oh, this is a bad beat, but I've come to the realization that there are no bad beats in sports. I say this, I haven't said it this succinctly. It's just because I watched the game. If I look at the score, it makes no difference. There's a trillion iterations of this game. This is just one of them that is aesthetically unpleasing.
This is the thing though about these kind of drives is like
That was
that D
great.
that
Sorry,
was
that pass
great.
was great.
But the D line's gassed. Like it doesn't matter how strong your D line is. If
Yeah.
you have to go out there and play every single play like this, like they're just gassed.
And like at the back of their heads are like, just don't get hurt.
Yeah, that's true too.
At least we think so. Like we're not,
Well, you could just watch. Like just watch the D line on this play. Like they're doing their best, but like you just can't you can't rush the passer every single down and expect to have the same results.
This is going to be a backdoor cover from the Jets.
Nope.
Oh
fat guy,
man, curse
guy
of the
with
commentator.
They at least made this game exciting.
Did they ever?
Josh Johnson not happy with that one.
He played a good game, man. You came in an unfortunate situation and you played a nice game. Like that alone, that tape alone, that's got to be like that's competent. That's competent football. You just don't see that as much. You know what I mean?
Just heat of the moment. It was a good drive. It didn't work out at the end. Oh, some of the weirdest stuff I've ever seen to end this game. They just let the clock run.
That is weird.
Well, that's game. Quite the exciting game.
Yeah.
At least for us. For all of us. Only 36% of people took the Colts minus 10.5 in the contest. %90 of people took the Rams at 4.5. And 86% of people in the contest took the Bills minus 10.5. Josh Johnson had that plus 10.5 ticket in his pocket.
He did. He was upset about it.
Yeah, whiskey might help me out, Mickey. Jake said Hussey is late for dinner reservations. And Mickey, see if I can find out who you had. Mickey had the Jets, so 0-1. Well, guys, that's it for us. Thanks for struggling through this one with us.
Yeah, tough one.
Hopefully, the next show's a bit better. Thanks, ISO. You guys all have a good night, and thanks for watching.